the expert subject. I didn't go to Still Sweden Engineering or Germany school or anything like that. So please add. Take one thing from this review is know that what I find, and I've been guilty of it myself until I really learned the true value of it, is we tighten our chains way too tight. Our vent chains and our wood chains, whatever. It's a subjective test. The litmus test for me is, you take two fingers, you pull like right in the middle of a bar, you want to pull a couple cogs out. Well, my pulling a cog out and Caesar Korea's pulling a cog out is two different things, right? But the main, in my mind, you want to be able to grab this chain and it should go freely. I just grabbed these message point air saw and it was bad. It was like, okay, that's too tight. What's happening is we're not going to a lot of fires anymore, right? We get 1 or 2 a year. But we're bluing our bars, right? That's from the chain being too tight, number one, or if you use it. After a fire, I've had blue bars. It comes to the shop to be clean. I go, oh, well, just, hey, there was heat there, right? We're cutting a hole. That's what we're supposed to do. But they're coming to me without going to a fire, and the bars are blue. It's because we're going way too tight. All right. So, talk about the air filter. Whenever you take this cover off, right, we got the carburetor's got, ports the size of human hair. So any little bit of debris that gets in there can wipe your saw out immediately. The carburetors are relatively cheap. They're about $60. But still, if you're at base camp and you're cleaning your air filter and you destroy it doesn't run anymore, you're up a creek. So whenever you take off the cover, engage the choke blade. What that does is it kind of blocks it's not a get-all safety thing, but it helps out. We're trying everything we can do to not get debris in there. This is an older saw. It was built in West Germany. What year was the wall torn down? Anthony knows. 89? I don't know, something like that. That's how long the saw has been around. This is now our demo saw. It's been taken apart so many times that it's no longer bolts or strips. So we're holding on to this demo saw. So this has the old style filter. It's not the HD, which a lot of you guys got in the 460, 461. Another little nugget for you. You know what the 1 stands for on the saws? It still changes the numbering like every 2 years or every year.
The California.
Yeah, good job. California. Right. You go to Montana, you'll probably get a 460.
You gave me the answers earlier. You deprived me of sleep, but all of a sudden I'm like,
right? Well, the way they adjust the carburetors on those California certified, it's all electronic.
Really?
There's no adjustments. You got to run it in material for like 15 minutes. There's a whole procedure without even using a screwdriver that, it's like, that's kind of scary for the fire service. Anyway, again, a review, you don't want to use 120 psi shop pressure in your air filter. Obviously, I do, but I turn the pancake compressor at the shop down to like 60, but you're on a strike team. What's our cutout on the air brake system? What's our cutout? 120, 130? Right, so the thing's constantly, we're blowing the Type 3 out, and the thing's going up and down. Now we get the air filter, and we just be cognizant of that, because you start to ruin the pleats in the air filter. This is actually on this 044, just a little nug. You know what this is? It's not an air filter. I call it an air filter. It's not. See how coarse it is? It makes no sense, right? You wouldn't want the coarse one towards the carburetor. On these older saws, they had this sponge which caught all the eddy and air fuel mixture, so it wouldn't get into the air filter. For years, I called this an air filter. It's not. On the new 460, the newer saws, they have that plate that's black that sits right there. That's the diverter to push that stuff back into the carburetor and not get into the air filter. So anyway, keep the choke blade closed to help eliminate the chance of that getting in there rather. It's coming to the hot season. Do you guys and gals get a lot of complaints? I mean, who's your saw guy? Are you a saw guy?
No, we got several guys. Marty, Toscalo,
okay.
And we all dabbled in it.
Right.
So we have a lot of good guys that are involved in it.
Good. Well, how many complaints of we got leaking fuel do you get? Especially, never happens in the winter.
No.
It's in the summer, right? So, just a little nugget for you. I've had a lot of, the thing's leaking fuel. Okay, yeah, it could be the cap, seal, but the newer saws, they got the big fat O-ring on the interlock. They don't ever leak. These ones leak all the time, but you have a fuel vent up here, all right? So it's designed when the pressure, just like your car, when the pressure in the fuel tank gets a specified level, more than 14.7, what is it, 14.7, whatever it is, to vent off so you don't push fuel into the cylinder and all that kind of thing. So it will leak vapors, and in those vapors, because it's two-stroke, what's in there?
Oil.
So what you're seeing is the oil trail. People say, hey, it's leaking fuel. That's normal. Okay? Just a little nugget for you. Going around to this side, let's see, who's the junior firefighter? Zika? All right. Hey, Mike. Captain Alviso just told you to get the saw back in service. You're improving the road, improving the line on the road. Hey, put the saw back in service. We're going to use it here in a minute. What are you going to replace first, the fuel or the bar oil, and why? Oh, you didn't pay attention in the academy, did you?
I would normally replace the fuel first. That's what I would do.
Wrong.
Yeah.
But I love you for just picking something. So, IFSTA says we're not going to replace, I don't know if it's IFSTA, I'm pretty sure it's IFSTA. We don't want a fuel hot engine. Well, if you're going to sit there for a half hour? No. So, two reasons. You replace the bar oil first. All right? Number one, it meets the intent of letting it cool off. Right? But also, more importantly, if you put the bar oil in first like you're supposed to, and now Captain Alviso says, hey, I need a saw here right now. I got to need it right now. Oh, okay. You hand it to him. You didn't do the fuel. You're not going to mess up the saw. You didn't do the fuel and the bar oil last. So this thing is designed with the oiler wide open to run out of fuel before it runs out of oil. Now, if you fill this up and this has got half, you're going to have a problem. So put the bar oil in first. That's the whole point of that. Bar oil goes in first for two reasons. That and the coolant, the fuel in a warm saw. All right, moving right along. This is your fan. Let me go over here. How many of you all had this problem just at your station? You know, a guy gets overzealous or a gal. Now things like, I'll give you a severe one, like that. And you have it, and then you go, shit. And you push it in there, you put it back on. The next day goes, oh, damn it. Anyway. So you can fix that. So more importantly, when you are checking at your elasto start, which is pretty important, I left this one bad. This is your tightest pitch point, right? It's the first reel. It's the tightest pitch point. You can't see that when you're looking at your elasto start at the station, right? This one's bad up here, it's getting bad, but it is really bad down there, and you can't see it. So it's important to every once in a while, pull these apart when you're cleaning debris out. I'll talk about airflow in a minute, but take a look at that. So now you get that unsprung deal, right? Or you just want to replace it. I really recommend getting the still ones that are together. They're wicked together. It's like $11 or something like that. I don't know, $9, I can't remember. But, I mean, there were the days of just getting cord. Then you got to drill this thing out, and it looks like crap to get a knot there. I mean, come on. Let's get real. Anyway, the one... And it comes the proper length. It comes the proper length, so you don't have one that's really short or one that's really long and hanging up here, right? Get what's designed for it, right? Now you can go to Napa, get an oil filter, or you're going to go to Honda. What are you going to do?
I'm going to go to Honda.
That's what I'm talking about.
Amazon.
Honda mechanic, man.
So, really easy, right? Take your dental pick, pull that out, cut it, pull this out. Take your new one in, goes right through there, goes right through that hole, tie a nice tight knot, pull it tight. Now I know I'm going through it really fast, but you can do it. Hold it up here. Preload this counterclockwise twice. 1, 2. Take your fat thumb and hold it. Now take your cord and go counterclockwise around, holding your preloaded spring tension. Okay, I've never moved my preloaded spring. I'm just winding this around, and inherently at the end I go about a half more. Okay, I'm done. So that's kind of a field fix. Sometimes you'll get you don't ever want to take this apart. You can, but if you're fortunate enough not to lose your nose, because there's a spring that's wound up real tight in there, it'll spring off on you. I've done one that took a lot of cussing, and it took like a half hour. But if you get the spring that's making noise, it sounds like we solvent bath ours. We don't solve them, we use water aqueous. So it'll get wet in there and take all the little lubrication off. You can take your Torx T27, loosen this, just like 3 turns, squirt a good penetrating oil in there like Bow Shield, Goes down the spring, tighten it back up, and talking about the air. How are these things? You got a radiator cap on this? How's it cool? How's the motor cool? Right. So, the way air is entrained, this is the fan right here. Air comes in through the cover. It eddies around. It's drawn over the cylinder, air-cooled cylinder, and just by nature of the way, by how it was designed, it usually entrains and eddies right here. That's why I put those car guards on. You guys got car guards on your vent saw? So what happens to your cylinder? From the composite and all like that. Right, and weirdly enough, you'll look at this side all day long that you can see, and it'll look clean. You take the cover off, and for whatever reason, this is the side that gets full of snot. What's the nemesis of these saws is heat. Heat will kill them. So you want to make sure when you're cutting tree, make sure you got a little sawdust that's all packed up in there where you're not entraining any air. That's imperative. All right, so we got our magneto, right? You know how a magneto works? Well, how do we start this? We don't have a car battery. Where's the battery on it, right? Right? So what's a spark plug use voltage to, right? Okay, so really quick, in a nutshell, a magneto, when you cross two magnets, help me out, Anthony, what Jada said. Induction. Yeah, so when you cross two magnets, it creates voltage. So what you got a pickup right here, which captures that voltage in the coil. And then you have another magnet over here that it comes around, stator comes around, it tells it to fire. So it's a little bit of voltage, stepped up to the coil, fire, right? 13,800 times a minute. A lot of revs going on. So that's how we get voltage without a battery. Again, this is your fan. I said that 20 times. I'm starting to talk a lot. If you ever get one that is someone took it apart, they thought they were helping, and they actually hurt me. I took the saw apart for you to clean up for me, and they take the magneto off. Well, there's a set cleaner, I think it's 25 thousandths feeler gauge, and it's on the actual two magnets and the pickups, not just on this harmonic balancer here nowhere. This is just acts as a harmonic balancer as well for the motor, keeps it so the thing doesn't vibrate. It's all designed that way. Got to go to the magnets, put them on the pickup. Yeah. And if you don't have a 25,000 feeler gauge, you can take a business card in the field. Like, the firefighter got overzealous and started shooting. So I took it all apart for you, engineer. Well, now you got to put that away. You can use a business card, slide it about 25 thousandths, put it in there, tighten these up, pull it out, make sure you have a little drag. A little bit is good. A lot is not good. Make sense? But kind of the spirit of this is heat and tightness is not good. As you kind of go through the saw, that's the same thing. Heat and things being too tight is not good. All right. Any questions so far? Okay. All right. Michael, why don't you go ahead and pull the cover off this saw. We'll get into the meat and potatoes. There are two types of. Go ahead. Listen to work. Two types of bar nuts. You got the flange type and the non-flange type. The newer saws, the 460s and 461s, they have a little collar stud with a little recessed shoulder on it. They take the flange one. You can use a non-flange one on one of those saws, but you can't use a flange one on these older saws. The key is when you take a look at the stud, it needs to be flush with the end of the nut. If you put a flange one on this saw, the stud is back and there's like 2 or 3 threads that are sticking out. They're not caught in the gut. That's wrong. Okay? That's not safe. These are fine thread bar nut. So obviously the finer the thread, the tighter, the harder it is for it to vibrate loose or whatnot. Easy. Good work. Go ahead, take it down there, buddy boy. So, all right. Go ahead and take off, well, real quick. So, got your oiler plate. You guys ever taken the oiler plate off? What can you tell me is kind of unique about this set screw right here? If you go blue torque, like too much, it's stripped, right? This set screw is designed to just hold this oiler plate in place until you squish the rest of it together. So what I'm saying is, don't go, you know what blue torque is? You're blue in the face, right? Just give it a little, I mean, you can see the way this one is set perfect. Just holds this plate on there until you get the big torque on the flange. Also a field trick that guy Gabe Williams told me recently. I have this nifty little bar groove cleaner that is designed to clean the bar, get the crud out of it, which is really nice, right? You go away from the bearing. But in the field, if you don't have one of those, you can use the oiler plate that fits in there perfect. That's kind of hot.
Is that from Gabe?
What? That's from Gabe, man.
Oh, man.
Is that from you?
No.
Oh, did he steal it from you?
I can say that. But
So
He
anyway.
never came from a shot crew at Tahoe Forest, so.
Yeah. So that's I don't usually take these off. You're gonna get. I just don't. I don't take them off. Anyway. So you got your clutch drum, you got your sprocket, you got your collar, and your E-clip, C-clip, Jesus clip, whatever you call it. Go ahead and take this apart. Not that I'm gonna not let you do it, but I'm gonna tell you how to do it. I'm just kidding. I'll just get. What's a nice trick? There is a way to go. This clip can be put on backwards, and if it's put on, upside down, it's a little bit harder to take off. You want the flat side of the E-clip to go on the collar, not the beveled side. If the beveled side is on the collar, the way the collar kind of is cut out, you fight it. Also, what you'll fight, I forgot to mention, whenever you're messing with this chain, taking it apart, tightening, loosening the chain, or dealing with the clutch drum, take the brake off. All right, I know we get in our grain our head, safety, brake on, but these things don't like to be tight. So go ahead. I just take that. See what you do. Oh, you're good. You are good. Very nice. Nicely done. So all that Michael did is just stuck his screwdriver. So if you're a Sawyer person, get the right side screwdriver that fits in there, so you're not taking your scrunch and trying to get it off and all that stuff. Get the right tool for the job, which is this perfect size screwdriver, pops right off. When you put it back together, what works really well is, what duckbill pliers are? You ever seen a duck's beak? The pliers look like that. It's flat on both sides. Somebody in one of the classes, actually a really good trick, they're saying, hey, well, we used to do a Cal Fires, we take this and we pull it towards us and put it on. So that if the thing springs off, it's taut and it's French. I don't trust that I'm not going to impale myself, so I'm not going to do it that way. I'm going to spend $5 at Ace Hardware, get a cheap old pair of duckbill pliers and stick it in my pack. Unfortunately, mine have walked away, I think, the last class, so I had to bring these Unimells. It works just as well, though, but the duckbill fits really nice. Just put that on there, done. All right, so you got your collar, like I said, you got your sprocket, clutch drum, and you got your bearing. What did I say kills these saws? Heat, right? Blue clutch, blue drum. This actually came off of another saw. I put it on the demo saw just so you guys can all see the blueness. When you start turning things blue, it loses its temper, right? Not good. So what can cause that is, we're running the saw. Emergency is an emergency, right? You're on a roof, you got to put the brake on, you're going 13,000 RPM, you got to do check it. But like running on a Saturday check, so not letting the saw come down from idle and engaging the chain brake produces a crap ton of heat in there, okay? Not good. This one is, like I said, turned blue. Do you know how a centrifugal clutch works? I know you know.
Rotation forces it out.
Right. So you got these springs that hold the clutch shoes in a position that keeps the specified clearance between the drum. As RPM increases, it's hooked right to the crankshaft of this motor. RPM increases, the centrifugal speed or force acts on the springs, overcomes spring pressure, and those shoes make contact with the drum, and we rock and roll, and we're happy. And when it comes down, the spring pressure overcomes the centrifugal force, pulls the shoes back, and everything's loosey-goosey. Okay, what's important about cleaning these is, something I've ever seen a saw that starts, it's called chain creep. Sometimes they're, that's because the debris in the clutch drum is making up the difference between the clutch shoe, so it's actually turning the thing, okay? So you could have an idle that's set too high, or you could have a bunch of crap in your clutch pan. So we're virtually do the steel wool. You'll see on a really dirty one, it'll be a huge groove. I know you've seen it. You've been around. You've probably taken millions apart. There's a lot of crap in it. You got to keep it clean. Also, you have what drives the oiler is a little cog in there, and it links up with a little cutout on the drum. There's also an indicator on the drum to tell you where it is. I've seen one smashed on there, and then if you get this E-clip in the groove, you're lucky, but the person didn't get that E-clip in there and it came apart. So you want to make sure you locate it. It's right there. Make sure you put this on and it snaps in. Some of the older saws, you'll hear it go kink. Just make sure you have that in there, because also if you do get this on and you do get this in there, you're bending that cog down and it's not going to turn. You're not going to be oiling your saw. Okay. Like I said, so that there is a right and a wrong way. You got your bevel side on the E-clips, you got bevel, you see bevel on it, and you got the flat side. You guys see that? As per still, the flat side goes towards the collar. One thing I can tell you is that. We always replace these. We take them off, because then someone took it off, got over the gels, stretched out. I haven't been replacing this one because it's a demo saw. It's about 10 cents. But just have some of these and replace it every single time. Let's go ahead and throw it back together. Also, talking about your bar, this one's got splayed on it. So splayed can happen from too tight a chain, improper cutting technique. Be very careful. You know, you should be wearing a glove when you're hanging. This one's really bad. You see it's like mushrooming everything. The metal, it's designed to wear, it's softer than the chain, but improper cutting technique, you know, look at that last cut going on. It's like, come on, you start using like a handsaw or whatever, you put more force on it. How do you know you got a dull chain? What's some of the roll that down there with chain sharpener?
Starts falling down. Not cutting.
What about your debris coming out? Yeah, you want it to look like Parmesan cheese, right? Parmesan cheese is good. Grated and shredded, right? We want shredded Parmesan, not grated.
Sawdust.
Yeah, we don't want sawdust. We want the stuff you put in your Caesar salad. Right? I put the long shit. Not the stuff you put on your spaghetti.
Let's set another indication. I remember I think when I went through this. So any tree that you're looking at taking down, or you're going to size up, bore cut every tree that you're going to take and put on the ground. So that bore cut, as we come into the tree, we start the angle of the blade slightly at a tilt angle. As we start the rotation of it, we bring the blade up, and a lot of times what wants to happen, especially with the hardwoods and the oaks and so forth, it'll start to want to chatter. And you can take that chatter by simply twisting the saw just gently back and forth, and it will take out that chatter as it goes through. And plunge cut, and you're looking for nice, big, heavy chips to come out. Because we want to see what's our holding wood going to be. Is it gutted out and it's rotten inside? And if it is rotten inside, you'll start to see those real fine dust. So not only is it an indication that you could have a dull bar, hopefully not the beginning of your cut, but as you're cutting through a series of time. But then as we're bore cutting, it's also telling us something about the tree that we're going to cut. And that bore cut wants to be where your face cut is going to be. So in the area of the face to see, and that's what we did. We punched through, got some sawdust coming through that. It was really fine. It had kind of a cat face in the front of it, and so we knew something was up. But actually, where we ended up putting our face cut was a few, 3-4 inches above it. It was actually a nice solid wood with good holding wood. Oaks are notorious for being rotted in the center, and so your only holding wood is the outside ring. And so just lots of stuff that will tell you that you have with your bar, the way your saw sounds, the way your chain, skip, all of those things will be indicators. Just stop for a second, put it all together. Is it my saw, the chain, the material that I'm cutting, etc.
A little different technique than I do. Everyone's got their own thing. What matters is that it works and it's fast, it's efficient, and it's right. We'll see if it's right. That'll be the test there. Good? Good. Let's see how good. I like that he's got the S. Very nice. Good work. I'm anal. Okay. Fire service good, but for me it's a little. No, that's actually good. That's good. That's good. Hey, the takeaway from this, right, it's about being loose, and then sure enough, we'll come back next set. You know, it's just the way it is, right? Until we all start getting that mindset that tighter is not better. The way I do it, great job. The way I do it, I have my own way, but the only difference being, you you adjust your chain and the bar was hanging, right? So that's fine. You got your way, all right, and it worked out okay for you. But when you tighten the bar nuts, just the way the crescent on the bar, you can see the way it sits in the studs, it'll come up a couple millimeters. So you can go back and forth all day long. I mean, not seriously, but you could fight yourself. If you take and put a little bobo, not bobo, just rest the saw on something. Either you have a nice counter at the shop, or you're out in the field. Put your scabbard down, put it down there. You're putting that bar in the position that it's going to end up in. So you can put it in that position and get your tension right and tighten it up one time and you're done. So you're going back and forth. You're great though. Again, remember, don't put your chain on the ground. What typically kills a lot of our chains are ground studs, right? So don't put your nice sharp chain on the concrete, on the ground. Don't start your saw and let it rattle around the apron, or else it'll start looking like that. Granted, your saw is really old, but when I came to work here, it's like the engineer started the saw and put it on the apron, and then ran a Honda pump and a rotary saw and all that stuff. Well, this thing's like, these things don't like to be idle. They load up. And I just watched the thing hop around like a freaking bunny all over the freaking airport, and then after about 20 minutes, they go turn it off. Oh, check's done! Check's done! So you're going to start that again. What happens when you go to start it? It craps on itself, right? Because it's all loaded up. Anyway. All right, real quick. Real quick. Go over a little field sharpening. I kind of showed you how to, I didn't show you. When you get that splade, I left the splade on this bar here so you guys can see it. So how you get rid of that is you take your file, you turn your bar, hold it flat. You don't want to go like this. You want to go straight out. So put the file flat on the bar and go straight out. You have to have a good file. When you start seeing, if you hold it steady, you hold it flat, you start seeing white paint come up, that means that splade is gone, right? You'll start to see the file marks getting in the middle, you're good. Do not file sideways on it, like you're filing a burr off of a piece of sheet metal. Straight, so you get boom, 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 and don't forget the back of the bar will get splayed too. Turn it around upside down, like that, just work that thing. Okay, chain. So, we use 404 wood for our saws around the engine, but then in the our Type 3 we're 3/8. That's what everyone does, right? 3/8 is actually a smaller kerf. That's what all the fellows use. 404 is heavy. It's stronger, but it's not really your ideal tree cutting because the kerf is bigger. Anyway, so you got your left-handed cutters and your right-handed cutters, right? Two sizes of files. We got rid of our larger files because the larger file works on the 404 but doesn't work on the 3/8. 3/8 is smaller. So we went all small files. Reason being is if you used a big the bigger file on the 3/8, which was, I think it was, what did we say, Anthony?
730 seconds.
730 seconds? 730 seconds. If you go file your 3/8 chain, you're actually starting to file on the link. So you're weakening the link. So we just use the small ones. You can use it on the 404. Just have to, it's actually better because you're not at all acting on that link. Anyway, so I do my left-handed cutters first just because I'm right-handed. I want to feel good about my work for the first half hour, and I'll struggle this way. So you either have a marker, or you guys know how you know if you got a dual cutter. You test on that. Take your fingernail and you drag it straight across the cutter on the top. So put some little white mark in your fingernail, it's sharp. And don't go up, go straight back on it. We take our chain, the buck saw, we put them on a jig, they grind them, it's like $9 a loop. It's worth every penny. When we're out in the field, we want to tune our chain up. They give you this little tool, it's got the angles. you know, 25 degrees, 30 degrees, garbage, right? I can't use it. I can't use it. I can't read it. I don't care what the angle of the cutter is. I don't care if it's 30 degrees, 35, whatever. I'm just going to follow what's there because I'm not going to sit here for a half hour and grind down to 35 degrees. So what you want to do is you want to put this file in, turn it, and go out of the cutter. Don't ever file back. File out. This is all kind of review for you guys. Review. Well, if the real big time fellows do, they're going to find their cruddiest looking cutter, and they're going to count how many strikes it takes on that, so they keep their chain, you know, balanced, uniform, and all that, whatever. If they're going to find their worst one, they go, okay, it took 5 strikes. You go 5 strikes on each cutter. You may have to take like 3. All you're trying to do is clean it up. You're not trying to make it look like Bucks just did it. With that being said, then I'll just give you this as information. The cutting surface on the wood chain, there's a hash mark on the cutter that tells you how far you can actually go and grind it. It's much more than our carbide. Our carbide for a vent chain is, you know, yay thick. You grind it, it only moves a couple millimeters. You don't have to take the rakers down. On this, because there's so much cutting surface that can be grinded down, you have to take the raker down. The raker prepares the kerf to cut. So if your raker's too proud, you're not going to get an efficient cut with your cutter. So this is firefighter proof. They have one in this kit that I still haven't figured out how to use, nor do I want to even try because I have the one that's firefighter proof. You put it over 2 cutters, and wow, what's sitting there is a raker. If it's proud, you just take your file, your flat file, this is, you know, beautiful. Just put that on there. Okay, it's a little proud. All the way through. So, real quick, anyone questions on sharpening?
There's a great new tool out that's out by Steel. It's got the sharpener and the raker file all in one. Like you said, find your worst tooth. That's your mark. What it takes and how many licks across. But that tool, that one tool, and it's about 2.5 inches thick, and it will take, and it's got, you know, the ability to hold both sides, and you're doing the raker and the cutter all at the same time of each one. So when you're done, it's all over. I take all my chains when I'm commercially cutting, and I take all my rakers off immediately. I cut them all down, and because I want speed and I want depth and so forth. So there's all little techniques with it, but exactly what it is. Go small. Always have the small one because it will fit any of the chains that are out there. And the prefab tools, they just seem to fall apart. They're great for the first 3 bars. I know Nick mentioned it also, is remember to rotate your bar. Flip your bar back and forth, so if you're cutting and then you're going to go to sharpen or change your chain, flip your bar back over. You know, that when it mushrooms out, it will cut your thumb or it will cut your finger, so always have protective equipment on. That flat is critical about it, and you'll see as you wear and tear. You look at a good saw, if you have anybody that's got wear on one side, they're not taking care of their tool. So take a look at your saws back at home, and if they're really worn on that back side, bottom side, flip it over, take the chain, service it. It's time for service.
So lastly, running. I know it's just a review. These things don't like to be run wide open without a load. They're designed to be run with a load on it, right? So you're running this thing full tilt boogie, 13,000 RPM, right? It wants to have load on it. So the way I started, I think it's the way I was taught from the guys at Buck Saw Center. So we don't like to let them idle a long time. So again, we start with the brake on. I have started without the brake on. I've drop started it on the roof. I mean, I'm going to do what I got to do, but be safe, brake on. 3 points of contact. I really feel we should all be starting a thing like this. I call it the modified drop. 3 points of contact, 1, 2, 3. I just feel that if we're teaching people how to start a saw, we got to put on the ground when we get on a 4 and 12, 5 and 12 roof, and you're still wearing the Eskimo boots, you got a problem. You know, this way is the right way to do it with the brake on. Anyway, so boom, boom, boom. So the newer saws have a decompression valve that just opens the top of the cylinder of scotch to help you pull through the compression, the high compression. It'll pop closed. Sometimes I can pull them through. You guys all know that. So get the pop, get it going. We're running now, right? You guys get in your car, and girls, you get in your car in the morning, just start up, play your garage, and go to work.
No, I warm up my seats and get the cab ready.
There you go. All right, so
the bob from inside the house.
right?
It up, yeah.
So what I'm saying is, in an emergency situation, you gotta go. But on our Saturday checks or monthly checks, whatever you guys and gals are doing, it's great. But let it start. Let it warm up for 5, 6, 7 seconds. Let it find its happy home. Don't just grip it and rip it. I hold the saw out here, obviously, for 2 reasons. Not obviously, but for 2 reasons. So if something comes loose here, I don't know who put this on before me. I'm just starting it. I don't want to get a face full of chain. Also, for me, it's economically feels good to put it against my knee right here. I kind of get this little ballet looking thing. Good. So I get it going. Just run for 5, 6 seconds. I put this thing down close to the ground, and I run it at half throttle. I'm gonna check my oiler, right? I don't need to run a full tilt boogie to check the oiler.
You guys gotta be available.
I check my oil trailing at half throttle. Right? So I get my little oil trailing, I rip it. Drop it out. So I just went from mid throttle, checked my oil, went all the way up, made sure it was cleaned out. Sometimes they sputter, they clean out. Then I drop it back down, make sure it didn't crack on. So, okay. I'm gonna check my oiler again. I already did that. Do it twice, turn it off. Good. So the whole process should take 30 seconds.
We might be taking San Quentin now.
Do you guys go to San Quentin?
We can go to San Quentin. Are you okay with us
Yeah,
taking
we're
off?
done. We're pretty much done.
Captain Juicy, thank you.
You're welcome.
Really
Hope it was a good
appreciate it.
review.
Good info,
Yeah.
man.
Good to see you.
Good to see you too.
Hey, good job, baby. Good job.
Be careful. Careful. Watch out for the talker.
Cute. We're going like this, man.
Yeah,
All right.
You're doing awesome.
That's the way it should be.
We're here to help.
They're gonna say the Harley people are here.
See you guys.
Yeah. All right. So I got it.
Yeah, good stuff. Thanks for the review. Some little tricks you got out of it. Picked up 2 tricks. Yeah, we've had a lot of incidents with people like just didn't understand them. I say we had those little dirt things pop out and nobody's putting them on right.
Yeah.
Cleaning them, obviously not the way, not oiling them. We've been through our trials and the same things you've probably been to. It says we've come a long way. We got a lot of interesting guys that are really aware. The fuel situation was one of them that we dealt with for a long time.
You going with SCF now? Yeah.
And we dealt with, we realized that it was breaking down and it was clogging everything. So that was a challenge that we had to get through. And they have that fuel that we utilize now.
We haven't had a single problem since.
Nope.
It's been amazing.
It is amazing. And it's little things like that, but it's maintenance, general. And then we came up with ways of sharpening. We had people had the grinding wheels. Well, when people get a hold of a grinding wheel, guess what happens? They ruin so many chains.
Every tooth is blue.
Yeah. So we had to come up with it, like, dude, this is not working.
Yeah.
And you can't just take every chain and go and sharpen them. That's not how you sharpen them.
Yeah.
So we had to go back to the basics.
Yeah.
But we had people that, they just didn't understand it. But we got the knowledge coming in, the education, and we've come a long way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Same thing with you guys. We have guys that are coming